Many people believe there isn't much difference between male dogs and female dogs, but believe it or not, there are some surprising differences between the two sexes that we'll explore in this video. Male dogs have a strong preference for women. Dogs may be known as man's best friend, but they certainly have a strong preference for women. In 1986, researchers conducted an experiment with a sample of 20 dogs. They found that while female dogs were only slightly reluctant to approach and make contact with strangers of both sexes, male dogs were much more reluctant to approach and make physical contact with unknown men. Animal behavior experts believe that men might be more intimidating in the eyes of dogs. Men are often larger and taller than women, have deeper voices, and may have different types of characteristics, such as facial hair. From a dog's perspective, these things can be frightening. Dogs get along better with the opposite sex. Anecdotal evidence and research suggests that most dogs tend to get along better with a dog of the opposite sex. Dominance issues and natural survival instincts to create a family may influence why this is true. So, if you are adding a second dog to your family, it might be worth considering creating this balance for a more peaceful home environment. Male dogs have a desire to roam. Male dogs often have a more independent nature. They have an active sexual drive, which means they are more likely to wander or travel long distances to find females in heat. They are also more likely to engage in conflicts with other male dogs due to competition for territory and mates. Male dogs also tend to be more dominant. They have an innate drive to dominate other dogs, and while both male and female dogs mark with urine, this is more commonly seen in male dogs. Urine marking is a natural canine behavior where dogs release small amounts of urine in various locations to mark their territory. They also leave urine marks as a way to attract mates. Male dogs that have not been neutered are even more likely to urine mark than neutered dogs. A study published in the Journal of Animal Behavior showed that high-status dogs mark territory more frequently than lower-status dogs. So, perhaps your dog is simply the king of the neighborhood. Male dogs have shorter lifespans. Studies have shown that female dogs live slightly longer than male dogs, but the most significant factor for life expectancy is whether the dogs have been spayed or neutered. Studies have found that spayed females live 26% longer than intact females. Male dogs that have been neutered also live longer than those that have not been neutered. This is because neutering or spaying prevents reproductive diseases such as uterine cancer or testicular cancer. Unneutered pets are also more likely to wander dangerously in search of a mate, which can increase the risk of being hit by a car, contracting diseases, and getting into aggressive fights with other dogs, leading to a shorter life. Male dogs bite more often. A recent study on canine aggression found that male dogs were 6 times more likely to bite compared to female dogs, and intact male dogs were more likely to bite than neutered male dogs. In another study involving 20 different breeds, investigators found that male dogs generally exhibited more aggression towards both other dogs and unfamiliar humans. But it's important to remember that a dog's aggression isn't that simple. Many other factors, such as upbringing, are key determinants of a dog's temperament. Most of the time, dogs resort to biting when they feel threatened or mistreated. Female dogs' behaviors change when they are in heat. Unlike male dogs, unspayed female dogs go into heat twice a year. During this cycle, a female dog experiences stress and anxiety. They also produce a bloody discharge that attracts male dogs for mating. A female dog in heat is more likely to run away to find males, following her mating instinct. You'll notice that she acts more flirtatiously with males, inviting them by turning her rear toward them and lifting her tail high and out of the way. And when a female dog is in heat, she is also more likely to urinate and leave a scent mark to signal the opposite sex that she is available. Spaying prevents female dogs not only from experiencing bloody discharge, but also from dealing with the anxious and stressful heat patterns. Male dogs are not good fathers. Female dogs tend to be protective and nurturing, but male dogs don't have the same paternal instincts. In fact, male dogs more often show a general disinterest in their puppies and do not tend to be involved in raising the babies. Interestingly, the paternal instincts of dogs don't match those of wolves. Male wolves are considered great fathers. They are also loyal and loving partners. The male gray wolf will bring food to his mate after she gives birth. Male wolves are also very protective of their pups and help feed and play with them. Female dogs are more likely to be right-pawed. Believe it or not, most dogs have a dominant paw. Scientists have found that dogs show a marked preference for their left or right front paw when it comes to reaching for food, going downstairs, or fetching toys. A study showed that most dogs are right-pawed, and female dogs are even more likely to be right-pawed than male dogs. If you're enjoying the video and would like to help with the growth of the channel, just give a thumbs up to the video and subscribe to the channel. Besides helping me, this ensures that you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Both male dogs and female dogs mount. Mounting is a natural and normal behavior for both male and female dogs, although it often occurs more frequently in unneutered male dogs. Dogs mount for many reasons that are not sexual. Mounting can happen when dogs are overly excited, such as during play. It's a way for the dog to burn off excess energy. Dogs also mount other dogs and people to display social status or express dominance. Sometimes mounting is a sign that the dog is seeking attention or trying to relieve stress. The largest dogs that ever existed were males. In general, male dogs tend to be larger than female dogs, both in height and weight. Male dogs often have larger chests, bigger heads, and heavier bones due to testosterone, which is the primary male sex hormone. In this context, a male Great Dane named Zeus was named the world's tallest dog by Guinness World Records. He stands at 3 feet 5.18 inches tall. Guinness also cited Zorba as the world's heaviest dog. Zorba was a male English Mastiff that weighed 343.9 pounds. Male dogs are harder to adopt. Several studies conducted with animal shelter data found that male dogs had a longer stay in animal shelters than female dogs. Male dogs spend an average of 6.6 months before being adopted, while female dogs spend 5.5 months. This bias towards male dogs is not so much related to adopters' preferences, but rather to the number of males entering shelters. Male dogs have a tendency to run away when there is a female in heat, and some males never find their way back home, ending up in the care of a shelter. The oldest dog that ever lived was female. Bluey was a female Australian cattle dog who died at 29 years and 5 months of age. She was the oldest dog ever recorded. She lived a very active life working with sheep and cattle, which may have contributed to her longevity. Bluey passed away in 1939. A litter of puppies can have multiple fathers. Female dogs can have between 1 and 12 puppies in a litter, and the puppies in a single litter can have multiple fathers. As you might imagine, if a female dog interacts with several males during her fertile days, her eggs can be fertilized by more than one dog. The ability to produce a litter of puppies with more than one father is known as superfecundation. Interestingly, superfecundation also happens in other animals, like cats and horses. And although very rare, it can also happen in humans during multiple pregnancies. Male dogs have a nose for love. Male dogs have a biological imperative to procreate, and this drive tends to override most other impulses. You may notice your dog's strong desire to sniff everything in sight during walks. Using their noses, dogs can sniff another dog's urine and learn a lot about that dog, including its sex, age, and fertility. A dog's urine contains a wealth of information about that particular dog. These are critical data for a dog that is looking to produce more puppies. Now, it doesn't matter if you have a male dog or a female dog. There are mistakes you might be making that could seriously harm their lives. In this video here on the screen, I talk about 10 mistakes that can ruin your dog's life. Learn to avoid them by clicking here on the screen and continue with me in the amazing world of dogs.